Ancient Rome, a place of power, spectacle, and some very questionable hygiene. From gladiators thundering past on horseback to steaming public bathhouses and crowded marketplaces, Roman daily life was far from the marble perfection you've seen in Hollywood. Today, we're stepping straight into those streets, and you won't believe what you're about to see. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and share this journey with others. Join us for more captivating stories from your favorite eras of history and step with us into the past. Let's begin. The roar of the crowd is deafening. You can smell dust and sweat in the air. In the center, gladiators on horseback circle the arena, their armor catching the sunlight like molten gold. These weren't just fights, they were full-scale performances, carefully choreographed to thrill. While we imagine gladiators as blood-soaked warriors, many were actually celebrities, trained, pampered, and sometimes spared from the worst fights because their sponsors wanted to keep them alive. But make no mistake, the danger was real. One wrong move and you could be lying in the dirt while the crowd screams for blood. Not everyone in Rome was living the good life. Disease was everywhere, from crowded slums to the upper classes. Without modern medicine, a simple infection could kill. Women in particular faced health problems from childbirth, poor nutrition, and toxic beauty routines. Some applied lead-based makeup, believing it made their skin paler and more beautiful. But it also poisoned them slowly over time. In ancient Rome, looking healthy often meant sacrificing your actual health. But life wasn't all doom and gloom. Picture this: a small gathering in a shaded courtyard, the sound of a golden lyre echoing against marble walls. Music was a central part of Roman culture. From religious ceremonies to drunken feasts, wealthy patrons would hire musicians to entertain their guests, while street performers brought melodies to the marketplaces. And, like today, the most talented artists could become household names. Now, let's take a stroll through a Roman market. The noise hits you first. Merchants shouting, customers haggling, animals bleating in the background. Stalls overflow with olives, figs, fresh bread, and spices brought from as far as India. But markets weren't just for food. You could buy perfumes, cosmetics, even the occasional pet monkey. And the real gossip wasn't in the Senate. It was here, where people traded rumors as much as goods. Away from the chaos, women gather in shaded gardens, their conversation as important as any political debate. Roman women, especially from wealthy families, often had more influence than history admits. They managed households, arranged alliances, and hosted salons where the city's elite exchanged ideas and secrets. And then there were the bathhouses, the ultimate Roman social hub. For a small fee, you could spend hours moving between hot steam rooms, cold plunge pools, and massage tables. Men and women often bathed separately, though mixed bathing wasn't unheard of. Business deals were struck here, gossip flowed freely, and it wasn't unusual to see senators and slaves soaking side by side. But hygiene? Well, the water wasn't changed nearly as often as you'd hope. If you were lucky enough to be invited to a Roman feast, prepare for excess. Tables groaned under roasted meats, honey cakes, exotic fruits, and wine mixed with herbs. Figs, grapes, and bread weren't just everyday staples. They were symbols of abundance. But here's the twist. Romans didn't eat in courses like we do today. Everything came out at once, and you ate reclining on couches. That's right, they literally lounged while feasting. As the sun sets, the streets of Rome glow in flickering torchlight. The marketplace grows quiet, musicians pack away their instruments, and the bathhouse is empty for the night. But tomorrow, the city will come alive again. with gladiators charging into the arena, merchants hawking their goods, and Romans living lives as messy, loud, and fascinating as our own. History isn't marble statues and faded scrolls. It's the sound of hooves on dirt, the smell of bread in the market, the steam rising from a bathhouse. And in Rome, every day was a performance, one that the world is still talking about 2,000 years later. Our story ends here, but history is endless. Subscribe and join us again as we uncover more tales from the past. Until next time, farewell.